All right, y'all. Today we're going to be doing 4.2.5. It is 10 questions, and we need an 80 or better to pass. What is the purpose of a security vestibule in preventing tailgating? I'm going to go ahead and look up what a vestibule is. I'm sure you guys have seen what that is. Something like this area. I did not know what this was, and my students did. Let me view image. Put image in a new tab. It's just like that little area you had to go through before you're allowed to enter a building, and then this lady asked for your ID or something. Yeah, I did not know what this was until students brought it up, and they were like, "Oh, you definitely know what it is." That was shocking, but I'm happy to learn stuff from y'all as much as I am to teach it. And it is to allow only one person to enter at a time with proper credentials. I would say that is the correct answer. That's a little bit self-explanatory. Why should you be careful with friend requests on social media? Because they could be fake profiles created by hackers. True. Yes. I don't know if I've told this story before. I'm gonna go ahead and tell it again. You definitely need to be careful with fake profiles, and friend requests. You should not. Your social media should be private. Point blank. Period. And two, you need to be careful with people that just send you friend requests. It doesn't hurt to be like, if you can, try to add people when you're with them in person. Oops, that's my Outlook going off. I had an ex-girlfriend that when we broke up, she was following me around, or like just stalking me on social media. And when we met back up at a later date, she was telling me about like, oh, I knew about this going on in your life, man. I knew about this going on in your life, and I was like, where are you getting this information from? I know that none of my friends talk to you because they hate your guts. And it turns out she made a fake profile to follow people on. And it was like some Indian guy. That's what it was made to look like. What is social engineering? Yes. It is a method of deceiving others to share personal or sensitive information. Go ahead and check that answer. This is actually a lot easier than it sounds. All you have to do is really kind of be friendly with people. And if you offer up information of your own first, it could even be fake information. If you offer up that information first, they are more than willing to give it up themselves. So an example of this is like, oh, hey Anastasia, how's it going? And, she tells me how's it going, and I was like, I've been wondering, like, I was born in Oklahoma City, in that hospital. Where were you born at? And honestly, most people won't think about it, and they'll just tell me that information. Oh, I was born here in Nashville, in the Vanderbilt Hospital or something like that. And oh, like, when's your birthday? And that's already two pieces of security questions that I've gotten from you. There's other ones like, oh, did you have a pet when you were a kid? Is that your first dog? And that's another one. So just be careful with what you share. What is smishing? and it is a type of phishing done through SMS and text messages / text messages. It's just the SM of SMS and smishing or phishing. Phishing is typically done through email. Number 5, you receive a text message claiming to be from your phone service provider, warning you about unauthorized activity on your account. The message asks you to click on a link to verify your account details. What should you do? Yes, you should call the phone service provider using the number on their official website. If you're never sure, which honestly you never should be sure, you can always call to see if basically like back end verify that, oh, did you guys send this text, and so on. What is spear phishing? It is a type of phishing that targets specific individuals. Yes. So what phishing is basically just like sending out spam emails, pretty much, hoping that someone bites, just like normal phishing. I'm a Nigerian prince and I have millions of dollars to just give away. That type of thing. Now, spear phishing is targeted to specific individuals who have. This is typically people who have something more valuable to give, or they are a little more gullible. And it could be a mix of both. It doesn't matter. As long as it is targeted. Jamie noticed that his computer and several others in his school's computer lab started running very slowly and displaying strange messages at the same time. What type of malware is most likely responsible for this? So I'm kind of in between answers, and I kind of want to talk about these anyways. Virus is just a generic term, and honestly, I want to get rid of this from your lexicon. I prefer to say the word malware. Virus sounds like it's like accidental, or it has to be made. Bugs and viruses, or bugs, are completely accidental. They're unintended consequences of bad code. Malware is code written with malicious intent. Virus kind of just, kind of implies a neutrality. A worm is a type of virus, is a type of malware that its intention is to replicate itself over its network. So if I'm at home and, like most people, I have a router that all my devices connect to, and my desktop computer, which I'm on right now, is connected through Ethernet. Well, if I got infected on this computer, it would spread to every other device on my router. The way to think about this is a worm, when you cut it in half, it's not cut in half, it's two worms now. Yes. Now, technically, being very technical, the worm itself is not the virus. The worm is something you attach to malware, like a rat. They call it tying a worm to a rat in order to spread it. We'll go ahead and move on. Spyware can be a type of malware that you get on your computer that allows them to see through your camera, see your screen, see everything you type, all that kind of stuff. It's a little bit harder to get this on your computer, and I would reckon you would have to download some pretty crazy stuff to get something like this. I know, like, me saying, oh, they can see your camera, all that stuff, is a little bit scary, but it is, as long as you're just not downloading and running all types of stuff on your computer, you don't have to worry about this. Same with ransomware. Um, Now, ransomware it basically locks all your files and basically tells you submit X amount of money to gain access to your files back. It does this hoping that you have some sort of, invaluable sentimental photos on your computer that you can't replace. And yeah, honestly, sometimes you're just not gonna be able to get that stuff back, which is why you should have copies in a safe, a fireproof safe somewhere. I'm gonna go ahead and say this is the answer. Hopefully, it's the worm. Strange messages at the same time, which is why I thought it was ransomware. But also the fact that it's on several other computers in the computer lab tells us that it's a worm. Okay. What is spyware? It is software that records information about a PC and its users. Yes, it is A. Now, when it says records information about a PC and its users, it doesn't necessarily mean that they can see it as you type it. It might just be storing all your, whatever you type in a bank in a text document and then sending it over to the threat actor. It just depends. What is a virus in the context of computer malware? It is a type of malware that needs user action to spread. Yes. You need to open and typically run infected files. Opening files technically does not infect your computers. I can open up a .text file and it will not do anything. No matter what malicious code is in there, if I open a text file, it is not going to do anything. Now, there are some very big stipulations to that. One being, it could say, malware.text.exe, which would run as an exe, and then infect my computer. And then there's also certain PDFs can run as certain PDFs can run scripts, which, if it's running anything rather than just displaying stuff, is generally unsafe. Now, things like Adobe Acrobat and all that stuff, they have those turned off immediately. You would have to turn those on, and honestly, there's no reason to turn those on. So just be careful with that. Make sure you're using a legit PDF reader, which I think most browsers come with them these days. What is ransomware? Malware that locks up a computer and demands money. Quite literally just holding your files up for ransom, or your computer. That was kind of a long video. Thank you guys. That is 100%, or no, I think I missed one. The worm, that is a 90%. I will see you guys in the next video.